Hey mates, I'm Zolanius and welcome back to my dam. Today I'm here to aimlessly ramble about the current situation in Hungary regarding the elections and to show you some truth about the position of Orbán Viktor, mainly through their own words. So, as per usual, in Hungary, around 1 to 2 years, we receive something like this, the national petition. This one has been received on 2026, 1st of February. These national petitions are basically Orbán Viktor's propaganda machine. They send these signed papers, supposedly signed. That's actually obviously a printed paper. It hasn't been actually signed because, it's sent to millions of people. He obviously doesn't sign them all. Though, to be perfectly honest, he does have the time for that. He is not really doing anything useful, regardless. He sends papers like these, explaining the situations and basically propaganda placards like these. Let me show it to you. I'm probably going to put in the description the entire thing, or at least a link for a picture so you can, translate it yourself. I'm myself not going to read most of it, just the important parts. Basically, in a democratic country where we are supposed to vote for shit, he is giving an option to either vote for the things he wants or to stay silent. Well, yes, sure, this is a petition. And usually on petitions, you don't have a chance or an option for, the exact opposite of things that the petition is for, but still, using this is undemocratic, to say the least. People are supposed to have choices when it comes to governmental stuff, yet he doesn't provide them. It's literally either vote for this or don't vote for all. At all. And guess what? If you don't vote, that's not a vote against the thing. They are not going to stop doing it just because they didn't have much votes. They are just going to inflate the numbers. Anyway, what we get on these papers is basically propaganda. And it describes various situations out of context with a lot of misinformation and straight up lies. Now, I'm making this video just to tell the most of these misinformation and lies, which are connected to the election, because these obviously have been sent out to fire up people to think that Orbán Viktor is the only safe choice for this country. Even though for the last 16 years he has been fucking it up, like inflation, the rising of the food prices, the unattainability of homes, yada. Irrelevant. What is relevant is the shit that they decided to say. So here they start the letter with Tisztelt Honfitársaim. I mean Orbán Viktor, supposedly. Honfitársaim is compatriots, which in this case is used to elicit camaraderie. Obviously, Orbán Viktor is not a Hungarian, he's a gypsy, which is a big wrench in his propaganda works, because Hungarians don't like gypsies, obviously. We are a really racist and ethnicist nation. Our values don't align with the Western values of tolerance. For the record, just 1,100 years ago, we were selling the Slavs to the Byzantines. And our morality hasn't really improved through the years, so I'm just putting this out. So him using this word is at the start of the propaganda. He wants us to think that he is with us, even though he clearly isn't. He is literally the best gypsy in the fucking country. He's stealing from everyone. Anyway, they say that the Brussels, which is code for the European Union. He doesn't like to use the European Union or EU for short, because that's a ethereal thing, like a union. Yeah, sure. That's not a thing you can touch. Brussels, the capital for the European Union, and also for Belgium. I think it's the capital of Belgium, but let me check just to be sure. My geography is not that good anymore. Yes, the capital region and the capital city of Belgium. I am not as stupid as I thought. Anyway. So he's using Brussels as a stand-in for the European Union. It is stupid. This is how we get stupid statements like Brussels want to go to war, which in our language is very close to the actual movement of the capital city just rising up on its legs and going to the Russo-Ukrainian war. So yeah, let's continue. They are using Ursula von der Leyen and Manfred Weber and also Volodymyr Zelensky, sorry. You have a very really close name to a certain guy, by the by. Maybe you want to change it. Anyway, so they are using these people as the scapegoats, basically, the enemy. That's why they are in this AI-generated picture with Zelensky pointing towards Zelensky's hand as he's asking for money. Yes, this is AI-generated. Yes, we have a lot of these in Hungary, mostly in the big advertisement billboards, both on the highways and on the big commie blocks that we have, because it has a lot of flat surface, which is used for advertisement. And from there we always see the AI generated images of Vladimir Zelensky and enemy of the week, basically. So they are using them as the scapegoats, and they are reusing their statements, taking them out of context, cutting them off at certain parts. For example, they say that Manfred Weber said that we are going to do everything to give for you Ukrainians the necessary financial stability, whatever it takes. The whatever it takes is the last part for a reason. It's grammatical bullshittery to get you to pay attention to that part. Obviously, this statement has been taken out of context. He didn't just say this sentence, and I'm pretty sure it's not even a proper translation. But needless to say, this is the shit they do. Similarly, on the bigger, this one here, they say that Ursula von der Leyen declare that Europe needs to fight, which is their propaganda towards European Union wanting to get into the war on the let me fix that. There is a little bit of extra light. Anyway, so it is their propaganda towards the European Union, which is declared as warmongers, who want to continue fighting for no apparent reason. Like, they are not really deep with the propaganda, they are just trying to appeal to your emotions. Regardless, another appeal to emotions is this. Ursula von der Leyen says that up to this point 170 billion euros, which is around 70,000 billion forints, has been given to Ukraine. But this is not enough. Ukraine for the next 10 years is demanding $800 billion, and this is not even counting the weapons and other military expenditures. Some of the parts of this sentence is indeed correct. It is the $800 billion is not intended for military use, because it's also not from the EU. There is a current political opportunity with a little bit of a bullshit. So in America, there is this investment company, BlackRock, who has been asked by Donald J. Trump, the current president of the United States, to provide Ukraine with $800 billion in investment for their infrastructure, their industries, agriculture, the mineral mining, and obviously to build back the lost homes and whatnot due to the bombings. Here is the kicker. The European Union does not have anything to do with this. This is an American aid, basically. What is also $800 billion is the euros that have been discussed by the European Union regarding European Union defense spending. By the way, I'm going to put links into the description so you know what I'm talking about. Basically, the European Union has decided that our military is shit, so we should spend a lot of money improving and getting them up to speed with the current realities of war. You know, like drones and anti-drone tactics, heavy weapons, lasers, shit like that. Better air defense, and of course the most important, cyber warfare. So this 800 billion, 650 billion of it would be just handing out money to the various EU member states, so they can, you know, spend it on the various military needs they have, buying artillery, shells, tanks, whatever. There would be also a 150 billion loan plan from the better off European nations to the not so better off European nations, so they can further improve their military spending. But first of all, that's not something that we need to accept. Second of all, it's still something that we are going to get for ourselves, not for the Ukrainians. Ukraine is not part of the EU, and I'm not even sure if it's part of NATO, probably not. Yeah, it wasn't because of the Budapest Memorandum, which for the record is the document that says, and has been signed by both the Russians and the United States, that the sovereignty of Ukraine has to be provided by both parties. Which is why the United States have been the main provider of military aid to Ukraine. And why is it a big fucking red flag when Trump is saying no more aid? They are literally treaty bound to provide that aid, and in fact they are treaty bound to join the fucking war and end it. They haven't done so because both Biden and Trump is basically leeches, and they don't do their job properly, but that's another topic for another video, which I may not have. Regardless, back to the numbers. So we discussed that the 800 billion is not the 800 billion that the EU has actual power over. The 800 billion defense spending, which is for the EU member states, excluding Ukraine, and for, you know, Hungary as well. The 170 billion that has been already given is also debatable, mostly because it's from the various member states, and it's not really clear if they have done their dues as the part or the member of European Union or just out of their goodwill. Like Poland has given a lot of shit for Ukraine, and not necessarily because they are part of the EU. Anyway, the 10-year plan is not something that the European people, and definitely not what Hungarians are going to pay for. That's an investment plan from the United States and from a investment firm called BlackRock. A very big one, which could just fucking pay with, from their pockets. That's 800 billion. So, yeah. First, misinformation. The information that it is not going to be used for weapons and military spending is correct. This is for infrastructure. So this is how they are putting truths into their misinformation to increase its validity. I can speak. Anyway. Another thing, in this last part, they say that please fill in the national petition and send it today. These have been sent out early February, from February the 1st to February the 10th, if I remember correctly. My grandmother received it on February the 7th. I received it on February the 1st, as you can see. Could see. However, there's a kicker. They are asking for you to fill it out as soon as possible, even though the actual end date is 2026, March the 23rd. So, more than a month. In fact, for me, it was more than 1.5 months. Why did they do that? Simple. They have provided you their point of view. You read it. It is going to affect your opinion either way. By asking you to send it as soon as possible, preferably this day, they don't allow you to check other sources of information, and thus they have the monopoly of your opinion, on forming your opinion. Basic bitches psyops, basically. And considering that the largest amount of people in Hungary are over 50, who are, let's just say, naive, especially the pensioners, this is a valid tactic that they have been using for quite a lot of elections and other issues to basically force people to send this back. What they also do is counting empty papers like this. Like if I would have sent this back like this without Xing in the petition, they would still count it as me going for all of 3. They would just put the X's on them themselves. So your options are basically limited to either agreeing with them or not even sending it back. Your choices are basically non-existent. Thus, not very democratic. Anyway, since I have been using this, let's go over it. First of all, send a message to Brussels. Once again, using Brussels instead of the European Union because it's tangible, it's better psychologically. Big stop sign, we are not paying. Obviously, Hungarians are very poor. We don't want to pay for shit. There is a lot of stealing in this country. Sorry, liberating. We are from a group of people who have been robbing people, as in the people themselves, to sell to the Byzantines. That's where Slavs came from, their fucking name. Regardless, this is a very good tactic of making Brussels, the European Union, look like the enemy. Because whoever the fuck is asking you for money is the enemy. Now, they are starting the whole shebang with a statement, namely that for Brussels, nothing else matters besides Ukraine. Which is bullshit, because Brussels, the European Union, has been discussing a lot of matters as of late, including, for example, the destruction of video games by their publishers with a kill switch after the purchase have been made. You know, the Stop Killing Games movement. There has also been a lot of other ECIs, a lot of other topics discussed in the European Union, because it's a big fucking apparatus. They don't just talk about one thing. Like, sure, the aid for Ukraine and the Ukrainian war and the state of the European Union's member states' military spending and military readiness is a big topic discussed quite a lot. But it's not the only topic, and obviously, since the biggest current expenditure, the 800 billion, is not even for Ukraine, but for everybody else in the European Union, it can be safely said that this is a straight up lie. Anyway, once again, they are reiterating that the 800 billion dollars, they even say dollars, they are not trying to mask it up. Say dollar. They're not even trying to mask it up, the 800 billion defense spending, as the 800 billion that is coming from the US, over which the European Union has no power over. This is very sloppy, to be perfectly honest. Like, I would like to speak with somebody in propaganda or psyops or whatever to check all over this shit, because this is fascinating how little they are doing and how much they are still achieving with it. Anyway, they are also saying that they want to hurry up the integration of Ukraine into the European Union within the 4 years. So, for the record, if the Russia-Ukrainian war is going to go for another 4 years, like, either of the countries is going to be shit. Like, don't get me wrong, they are very good at killing each other, but here's the thing, they are very good at killing each other. I don't think there is enough people on either side to continue the war for 4 years. Eventually they are going to run out of bodies. Either side, or maybe both. Regardless, accepting Ukraine into the EU within 4 years. Okay, yeah, sure. When did they apply? Yes, when Zelensky took power. When did Zelensky took power in Ukraine? Let's check just to be sure. 2019. So their EU pending. EU acceptance has been pending for already 7 years, and another 4 years for that would be 11 years. I think there are countries within the EU that hasn't been in the limbo for that long. In fact, I think Hungary hasn't been waiting that much to be joining the EU. So yeah, where is the problem with this? Good question. Let's go on. It's saying that Brussels is preparing to not just send weapons, but also to join on the side of the Ukrainians to the war. And once again, they used Ursula von der Leyen's statement, Europe needs to fight, which has a lot of more words after it and a lot of words preceding it. This has been taken out of context. I'm not even sure if it has been said over this issue. It might have been. They talk a lot, these politicians, and for the record, the politicians have been saying that we should arm Ukraine, we should defend European sovereignty, because here's the kicker. I think it was on February the 16th, maybe, 2023, the Russian foreign policy has been put out for the world to see, and they basically said, enslave Europe, destroy NATO, destroy United States. I'm dumbing it down, but basically this is it. They wanted to destroy the Atlantic Alliance, or whatever the fuck they call it, and bring in the Europeans into the their economical sphere of influence, which if we are looking at Fehér Oroszország, Lukashenko, which country he's leading? What's the fucking name of it? Belarus, yes, because instead of calling it White Russia, like, you know, normal people, Hungarians, English calls them Belarusians. So if we are taking the Belarusians as an example, their country is being basically exploited by Russia, not just at the level that the European Union is exploiting the various Eastern European member states, but to the degree of just straight up pulling resources. Not even paying for it. Just there are Russian companies in Belarus that don't pay taxes. They take their manpower, their labor force, and just send the dividends back to not even the dividends, the entire fucking profit and whatnot to Russia. And that's what they want for each and every one of us. It's not even up to debate. It's literally in their foreign policy that they have taken down since then, but Wayback Machine, just type it in. Also, there is a Wikipedia page for it. Type in 2023 Russian foreign policy. Anyway, so basically they are the enemy. They want to enslave us, so we should stop them, right? So the actual things that the European Union has did towards, you know, not getting fucked over by the Russians is limited. Like, yeah, sure, there is the 170 billion euros that have been sent to Ukraine up to this point. And there is also the frozen Russian assets that are probably going to be given to Ukraine. Maybe, maybe not. They are really wishy-washy about it, because it seems that they want to elongate this war. The longer the war is taking, the more the Russian war machine is degrading. Like, they are not going to be able to keep it up. That's why I'm saying if the war is going to continue for 4 more years, either side is going to lose too much manpower and just not have enough soldiers on the front, and thus it will collapse. Especially if from either side there is going to be somebody joining. Like on the Russian side, the Chinese could join and just wash over Ukraine, or from the Ukrainian side, European Union could decide, okay, we are going to join. To be perfectly honest, that is a thing that could happen. But would probably happen instead is NATO joining forces and doing so, because the European Union is an economical alliance, the North Atlantic Alliance is a military one, so it's probably going to be NATO as a whole joining on the side of the Ukrainians instead of just the EU. Like, all the other parties in the NATO are not really on the good side of the Russians. Like, yeah, sure, Hungary, Serbia, Slovakia, the Balkans are kind of in the grip of the Russians, but it's because their ties of the presidents and other high-ranking people to Putin, which is not going to be the case if Orban is going to be booted out, if Vucic is going to be receiving some anti-radiation treatment from the end of a rifle. At least I hope that the revolution is actually going to be doing revolution stuff, just being, you know, wishy-washy like they are currently there, like start grabbing weapons. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. Basically, they are using out of context statements to say that the European Union is trying to join the war, which they could have done at any point at this time. And considering that they are going to be paying that 800 billion throughout the years for the defense spending, they are not going to join the war anytime soon, even if that's their intention. Oh yeah, and the costs of the war would be paid by the Hungarian people, European people, and thus the Hungarians. Another statement from this paper. So I would like to be reminded that what were the actual payments and taxes and other duties that have been levied on the European people to fund the Ukrainians in this war. I seriously want to know anything that is directly linked to this, or even indirectly. Like, yes, we have increased food prices, we have increased gas prices, whatever. That's mainly because the Russians are not able to provide everybody with their oil. Also, when there is a war nearby and there is a lot of, demand for stuff like shelf-stable food, then obviously the price is going to rise because there is a good buyer next door. But those are not things that the European Union did in order to pay for the aid given to Ukraine. So I don't really see how we are paying for the war. Furthermore, there is this whole section, this one, about the Brussels, the European Union, lying about how these multiple hundreds of billions of aid not being paid back by Ukraine, which, makes sense because it's aid. Like, I don't know what Orban was expecting, but the European Union and basically everybody else is not going to state this aid does not need to be paid back by the Ukrainians, or this aid will be paid back by the Ukrainians, because it's aid. It's not a loan, not an OTP loan or a CIP bank loan or a Raiffeisen bank loan that the Hungarian people have needed to take up in order to not to die because of the Swiss franc fiasco. No, this is aid. This is money goes in the hand of the guy who receives the aid and staying there forever. Well, until they spend it, but you get the gist of it. It is not supposed to be paid back. Obviously, the European Union is not going to declare this fact because it's fucking obvious. You can state it. Azt a nyilvánvaló tény, this obvious fact. Yes, it's an obvious fact. They are not going to pay it back because it's an aid. Again, these easy playing of the words and appealing to emotions instead of, stating facts. Like in the previous one, this shorter one, they at least put some truth into the matter. This big propaganda poster thingy, no, they didn't. they are also saying multiple times that the hundreds of billions of money, doesn't say the actual denomination here for a good reason, is going to be paid by the European people and thus the Hungarians. But once again, the hundreds of billions that were promised to the Ukrainians and to Zelensky personally was made by the Americans, and it's going to be paid by the BlackRock investment fund because it's an investment. They are going to get back money from it because Trump is making deals instead of just holding up the deals that predecessors made already, which for the record is legally binding. Thanks for reminding us that legally binding treaties and alliances mean jack shit when it comes to actual countries doing their stuff. Anyway, back to the topic. Last but not least, they are saying in this very short part at the end of the last segment that the 13th and 14th month pensions and the utility cost reduction is going to be abolished by the European Union, and the taxes are going to be raised for both people and corporations. Now, let's go over it one by one. 14th month pension hasn't been paid by the Hungarian government. They said they are going to do, but the people who received it are basically Orban's lackeys. The general populace haven't received their 14th month pension. 13th month pension has not been asked to be abolished by the European Union. First of all, they don't have the power, nor the diplomatic power, nor the coercive power, nor the what it's called, the moralistic power, especially for pensions. What the European Union could do is write a strongly worded letter to Orbán Viktor to stop paying those damn retired people their pensions, which for the record they didn't. Here, also going to be in the description, a paper from OECD, the Better Policies for Better Lives thingamajig. It is indeed a is it even in European Union? I don't know. Basically, they made a 80 pages long document where they were talking about the pension plan in Hungary. And they said that there is a problem with the 13th month pension, namely that everybody gets it. And they said that, okay, how about the 13th month pension is going to be paid for the people that actually need it. You know, the low pension old retirees. And don't pay it for the, you know, the upper crust of the society. They wanted to implement a, let me find it again, indexed ceiling. So you wouldn't receive the pension, the 13th month pension, if your pension is already bloody fucking high. You know, like for the lackeys of Orbán Viktor, including their family. Their family who has been building mansions with zebras and palm trees. Yeah, the European Union give a opinion piece that, hey, maybe these people shouldn't receive the 13th month pension. They don't seem to be needing it. How about giving it to the actual poor people? No. This has been reworded as European Union doesn't want your 13th month pension. They want to take it to finance Ukrainian war. To be honest, it's not that big of a leap. They didn't put much work into it, especially considering that how are the European Union going to finance the war in Ukraine with the pensions of Hungarian people if the pensions are distributed by the Hungarian government from the Hungarian government fund, which is from the Hungarian taxes, over which the Hungarian government has a sole monopoly to distribute. European Union doesn't have access to the Hungarian taxes, the Hungarian tax money, nor the Hungarian pensions, nor the Hungarian everything. The European Union was a economical alliance. It does not have that much power over the member states. So yeah, this is quite an obvious lie. About the utility reduction. In Hungary, there is this thing called rezsicsökkentés, which is roughly translated to utility reduction. It's as on the tin. It's a reduction in the utility prices, supposedly. What Hungarians receive are a lot of papers from the fővárosi közművek, fővárosi vízművek, fővárosi csatornázási művek, a lot of things starting with fővárosi if you live in Budapest. If you are living in the other cities or in a rural environment, obviously it's going to be from different agencies. What is very important about these agencies is they are semi-government controlled. Like, on paper they are private, in reality they are private companies owned by the current regime's lackeys and friends and family, basically. So the current government has a, quite frankly, direct control over the price for which these things are going to be sold, how much profit the various companies are going to make, especially considering that they receive so heavy aids and whatever, governmental aid, that they can stay afloat even if they are giving the electricity and the water for free. Anyway, this utility reduction has also haven't been really increasing, at least not percentage-wise, while the utility prices have been increasing, and I'm not just talking about the heating, the gas, I'm talking about electricity and water as well. Electricity and water that the Ukrainians have no control over. Yeah, sure. Gas, they can stop the friendship pipeline and all the other pipelines that are coming from Russia to the various European nations. Yeah, they can do that. Thus, they have the ability to spike the prices for these things, which, for the record, yeah, sure, go for it. Especially considering that Hungary has been receiving many offers for both the same price or even cheaper oil and gas that they are receiving from Russia, just so that they are not going to be Russia's bitch, Orban specifically, and stop buying stuff from them. But no, we have been keeping buying stuff from Russia, and thus the Ukrainians have a power over the price for heating and technically benzene, gasoline for the cars. What they don't have control over is electricity and water. Water is purified from the wastewater that we produce, and also from the water from the Danube and the Tisza and the Balaton, I think. Maybe Balaton is not having a pump station, but irrelevant. Hungary has a lot of not so fresh water sources, and the urban places, for example the capital Budapest, has quite robust purifying infrastructure for providing kind of fresh water. This infrastructure was built during the communist era, early communist era, 70s, and haven't been well maintained since. Because of this, Hungarians often experience brown water syndrome, which comes from the rusting of the pipes. Thankfully, it's not because the shit from the sewage gets into our drinking water, thank fucking God. There are cases of that happening, but at least that's the exception, not the rule. But that's the realities we live in. The water infrastructure haven't been maintained, and that results in worsening water quality and also increasing water price. Because if the purifying station is going to have a lot of breakdowns and whatnot, that means a lot of need for spare parts, which increases the running cost of these facilities. And none of this is connected to Ukraine. All of this is connected to the general corruption of the state. Electricity is a little bit weird because most of our electricity comes from the Paks nuclear facility. I think 45% of the entire consumption, maybe even more. And there are also other power generation facilities in the country, but this is the main one. And thus the situation at the Paks decides how much electricity costs. The situation at Paks is that most of it is old Soviet stuff, which has been refurbished by new Soviet stuff from the Russians. And a lot of the higher ranking staff and the people who have actual knowledge about this whole atomic bullshit is Russian affiliated or straight up Russian. So technically the Russians have, if not too big, but a considerable hand in how much electricity costs in Hungary. And guess what it has been raising? You can guess why. None of this, however, is connected to Ukraine. Only the gas. And even the gas could have been, the gas and oil, could have been avoided if Orbán Viktor just takes the fucking deal, provided by even Donald fucking Trump, to buy from a different source, potentially at even a cheaper price. So yeah, the European Union also doesn't know about this whole utility cost reduction. They don't have a statement on it even. So I don't know where he did get that. It's probably because it's one of his biggest achievements, this rezsicsökkentés, utility cost reduction. Every time something comes up, it is tied to the utility costs of the homes, which for the record is high. Like for this thing, it goes from 40,000 forints to 70,000 forints, depending on the season, depending on the mildness or severeness of the summer and winter. To put it into perspective, that's about 1/4 to 1/5 of somebody's paycheck. So yeah. Last part of the propaganda is the actual petition, where you only have the options for saying no to the various stuff. The various stuff being, I say no to financing the Russia-Ukrainian war. I say no to financing the Ukrainian government for the next 10 years from my money. And I say no to increasing utility costs because of the war. So let's go over it one by one. If we say no to financing the Russia-Ukrainian war, Orbán Viktor needs to stop buying Russian oil and gas, straight up. They also need to stop relying on Russian engineers and Russian nuclear material for Paksh, because it's directly financing the Russia-Ukrainian war on the Russian side. What it probably meant is financing the Ukrainians in the Russia-Ukrainian war, but if he wrote that, that's a minus point on the propaganda scale. So he didn't. Conversely, if we say no to the financing of the Russia-Ukrainian war from our money, then we could still go with whatever the EU decided over that 800 billion, because that's not for the Ukrainians. The Ukrainians' 800 billion is from the United States. United States that way. Because that's westward. Anyway. So once again, even if we say no to this, the only thing that needs to change is us buying Russian stuff. Saying no to financing the Ukrainian government once again is not within our power, because we are not trying to do that as in European Union. What we are trying to do in the European Union is increasing our defense spending. Who pledged to bring $800 billion to the Ukrainians is the United States, Donald J. Trump, and the BlackRock investment company, which this petition does not hold any power over. For the record, this petition also doesn't hold anything over the European Union. By joining the European Union, we accepted that there are going to be duties levied on Hungary for various stuff. So as long as the European Union can justify various duties that we should do to support Ukraine, then that's our fucking duty to do. If we don't do that, then we shouldn't receive all those money for the infrastructure projects that Orbán Viktor and their lackeys are constantly taking their cut from and building their mansions with palm trees and zebras. So yeah, if Orbán Viktor wishes to receive his main income, as in the corruption from the European Union's money that they take through their lackey-owned construction companies, then even if the European Union says, okay, send this much food or this much medicine to the Ukrainian side, then we have to do that. As long as they do justify it, like for example by making it a group effort. Regardless, back to the topic. The Hungarians have no power over if the United States is going to give that 800 billion or not. And also, if they do give that 800 billion, we are not going to pay for it. It's going to be the US. So, once again, bullshit. And last but not least, saying no to the increased utility prices because of the war. Once again, if you want to do that, accept the fucking deal about switching from Russian oil and gas to the other offers that have been made, and stop using Russian technology and Russian engineers in Paksh. That way, our and also stop being a corrupt cunt and start putting money into the purification facilities in the capital and the various parts of the country, so that we are going to have clean as fucking water instead of the brown sludge that sometimes comes from the sink. So yeah. Almost an hour again, so I hope this time I wasn't as rambly as the previous one. So this is what the Orbán Viktor is trying to do. AI generated pictures, big signs, trying to appeal to emotions, trying to limit the information that is available for the general voter right before the elections, so people don't know better. Like, even my mother is saying that we shouldn't vote for Magyar Péter because she sees the things about him on the TV, the television. Like, yeah, television is owned by Orbán Viktor. Everything that goes on there is straight up governmental propaganda. Obviously, they are going to make a collage of his worst moments in his life so that you think that he's a cunt. Which, for the record, he is, but for different reasons that we see on the television. Seriously, if Satan from hell, horns and yellow eyes and red skin and tails and all, crawls out from hell and says, I'm going to run as Hungarian president, then as long as he says, I'm going to punish Orbán Viktor for his deeds, whatever the fuck he does else is going to be looked over, everybody is going to vote for him. Because Orbán Viktor, here's the kicker, is worse than Satan. At this point, he's worse than Hitler. And if he's going to get a bigger country where he can fuck up even more, he's going to be worse than Stalin. So yeah. We really need a government change. We really need the next government to not just be a window democracy, but they should actually go after the various corruption cases that we see from space. Like, seriously, there is so many fucking mansions being built to this very day by Orbán Viktor, his family and his lackeys that you can see from Google Maps. Just go over Hungary and check out the rural areas where large-scale building is taking place. Like, they have palm trees, zebras, frescoes, the mosaics on the floor. They are literally thinking that they are goddamn kings, emperors even. Even if we are going to get an incompetent cuck, like Magyar Péter seems to be being, we are still better off. Hell, we would be better off with an idiot like Trump. He cannot be worse than Orbán. Nobody can. He won the race. He is the worst fucking president in human history. Anyway. Oh yeah, why I'm talking about just Magyar Péter. DK, Democratic Coalition, led by Dobrev Klára, they are the most milquetoast, just opposition for the sake of making Orbán Viktor not a tyrant. Like, there is a lot of small billboards and advertisements for them and their various things, but they are not even putting in the effort to provide a plan. Like, I don't know what they want to do. I have no clue what they are going to do after getting into power. Same with the two-tailed dog party, kétfarkú kutyapárt. They are basically a joke. They have the choicest of memes, of course, and they do a lot of charity, but they don't have the capability of leading a goddamn nation. Like, I think their goal is to get some people into the parliament so they get experience, and within a couple of decades they might be able to actually do governmental stuff and stand a chance of winning, but that's very long term. There is also Mi Hazánk, the nationalistic party. They want to do genocides against the gypsies and other minorities, and that's kind of it. They want to delete the crime syndicates, the organized crime syndicates, but they're nationalistic. They just want to fuck the gypsies. as in with bayonets. And last but not least, the actual party that has a fucking chance, TISA. Why does TISA have a chance in Hungarian politics? Simple. They're not saying we are going to fix the country. They are not saying that we are going to make this place prosper, that we are going to fix anything that our predecessor did. The one thing they are offering is to take down Orbán Viktor. And for most Hungarians, that's enough. We just want that guy to be taken down from the throne and preferably put into jail alongside with his family, alongside with his lackeys, their mansions turned into silos or museums or whatever, given back to the fucking people, and all the money that they stole used for the betterment of us. Like, yeah, sure, whatever the fuck they spent on hookers and cocaine cannot be recovered, but at least make a show out of destroying them. Have a goddamn Ceausescu ending. I don't care. As long as they are out of the fucking picture, and as long as they are getting what have been deserving, I don't care what the fuck happens afterwards. And nor does most of the people here. That's why we are going to go and vote for the TISA party and Magyar Péter. Yeah. State of the realm, folks. Anyway, thank you for watching. If I won't forget, I'm going to put a lot of links in the description for sources. And I hope to see you back in my den with preferably a much happier topic. See you.